Well, shit. We have a lot to talk about, don't we? What's going on, everybody? It's your buddy, it's your pal Spaz, Phoenix, the YWC Reality Check, here with your Monday Night Raw review. A couple things I want to go over before we go into Monday Night Raw. A couple of questions I need to answer. People have been asking me, stuff about what's going on this channel, what this channel is going to look like for the rest of the year. And I'm going to give you some WrestleMania thoughts, obviously. The housekeeping portion of it is going to be... people are asking me what's coming, what's going on this channel. Nothing's really going on this channel. Things are going to change a little bit. Monday Night Raw reviews like this one are still going to stay here. Pay-per-view reviews are going to be kind of hit and miss. Pay-per-view reviews are going to kind of be part of the Raw review unless I rope somebody in that night to do a collab with me, because after a pay-per-view on a Sunday, when I have to work Monday, it's not a good time to be throwing together a review, because I won't get it the way I want to get it. The Wednesday Night SmackDown review, which I know people find funny because the whole Thursday in the States, whatever, is going to be replaced slightly by a new series called The Fights on I can speak, I swear. Called The Fights on Wednesday Night. I will get into that more on Wednesday, but I'm pretty sure if you put two and two together, you guys can figure out what it is. Fan interactions and answers. Last one I did, I told you guys I was considering not doing it anymore because the response to it was not what I expected. I did get some feedback. I did get some positive feedback. Some, please keep this going. We like it. Roddy, Roddy, Raw. So it's going to change slightly. Where it used to be, I would give you guys a question on a Friday, and I would share your answers the following Friday. What I'm going to try and do for the next little while is make it another monthly thing. I'm going to give you guys a question or something to think about or something that I want your guys' thoughts on the first Friday of the month. And the last Friday of the month, I'm giving you 3 weeks or so to add your feedback. The last Friday of the month will be when I share it. It'll be another monthly thing. Ask the Phoenix is not going anywhere. My weekend was entirely clusterfucked, so I failed you guys. Ask the Phoenix for March has not been done yet. Ask the Phoenix will probably be done tomorrow, and I have to apologize in advance because I know a lot of you guys asked me pre-WrestleMania questions. What I will do with the questions you've asked me, I will try to rephrase them so that they work for post-WrestleMania, or if I can't do that, I will still read out the question. I will sort of give you what my answer would have been before WrestleMania as best I can, but honestly, guys, my weekend went to hell. I was supposed to do it. It just didn't happen, and so you guys have my apologies for that. And Tackle. Tackle is not going anywhere. Tackle was started by myself and OKFabe. You guys liked it. OKFabe had to bail 1 month because, he didn't have a computer. Guapo filled in for him. And then for Mania, I put the panel together. The panel was Guapo and Kristen from the Wrestle Recap show, along with OKFabe and our good friend Heel Steven. Now, if you guys watched that video to the end, I asked all of them if they were in to do that again next month. So hopefully the Tackle panel will continue, going into Extreme Rules, etc., etc., etc. after that. Even if that panel cannot be assembled for another preview, I will be getting someone, most likely OKFabe if I can't get everybody, but I will get myself and somebody every month to keep the Tackle series going, because it's another one that's gotten amazing feedback from you guys. So that's how we're going right now. Raw will be every week. The Fights on Wednesday night will be on Wednesday nights of weeks where I don't have Ask the Phoenix or Tackle. So if it's not the week before a pay-per-view, and it's not the last week of the month, because the last week of the month is when I usually do Ask the Phoenix. The Wednesday preceding any given pay-per-view is when we do Tackle, obviously, because you're previewing the pay-per-view. Any week that does not have either of those series on it will have the Fights on Wednesday night, and this coming Wednesday I will get more into what that is, but as I say, it's almost self-explanatory at this point. And the fan interactions and answers will be a once-a-month thing, and those will be coming out the first and last Fridays of every month. So that is the general schedule I'm going to keep this channel on for the next little bit. I hope it makes sense. I hope I'm not flooding you guys with stuff, but again, I want to give you guys the series and the repetitious things that you guys seem to be responding well to, as well as doing stuff that I want to do. Tackle gets an amazing response. Ask the Phoenix gets an amazing response. I will tell you, coming up this Tuesday when I do Ask the Phoenix, there are 2 separate viewers of mine that each gave me 100 questions. They are 2 of about 10 people that responded to that particular thing. I got an incredible response when I said fan interactions and answers might stop, and telling me to please keep it going, which was great. Tackle, I promise you, it gets a good response. Tackle, I do because it's fun for me, and it is really my chance to interact with a lot of the amazing people in the YWC, fun people that aren't, shitting on the product. Even if there is goofy stuff happening in the WWE, we can laugh about it. We don't have to bitch about it. This is why I've gotten together in the past with people like NJ, with people like Johnny Thunder, with people like Steffi Sunshine, with people like Emo Kitty Cat, with people like Fear the Spear 1990, and the people that I've worked with currently with Kristen and Guapo and OK Fabe and Heel Steven, and to all of you guys, the ones that have collaborated with me on any video of any type on this channel, please know that it is the favorite thing I do on this channel. It's all good for me to sit here with the Doomy Clipboard of Doom, tell you what I think about stuff, review a show, review a Raw, tell you what I think about a specific topic, like Daniel Bryan, like the Roman Reigns controversy, like Brock Lesnar being a part-time champion, all those types of things. It's great for me to come up and do something like that. I can put my thoughts together, I can try to be eloquent, usually fail, but the best videos that I do and the most fun videos that I do are the ones that lag on forever and ever and ever because the conversation just doesn't stop. So that's what's going on this channel for the new year. And I say the new year because it's WrestleMania. WrestleMania is like the New Year's Eve for the wrestling year. The first Raw after WrestleMania is New Year's Day as far as the wrestling year goes. So I will say, all corniness aside, to all my brothers and sisters in the YWC, Happy New Year. Now, gotta talk about WrestleMania. This is not going to be a full review. It's not. I'd be here forever because WrestleMania was fucking fantastic. And to all of you who told me that it couldn't possibly happen, all of you that were climbing up my fucking dick, telling me that there's no way, saying, if you think WrestleMania is good, you're lying to yourself, and all this other bullshit and nonsense. WrestleMania was fucking epic. WrestleMania was absolutely fucking epic, and people are saying, oh, it's the best WrestleMania maybe in the past 3 years or so, and rah, or, hey, if we take out last year's WrestleMania, then maybe it's the biases seeping through and horrible things. WrestleMania was fantastic as a whole, and yes, here's the deal, guys. I took Monday off. I took Monday off work because I knew I wasn't going to sleep Sunday night. This is a thing. There's a lot of things I watch on Sundays, and I'm going to ramble about myself for a second. There is Walking Dead, there's Talking Dead, there's Secrets and Lies, which if anybody hasn't checked out Secrets and Lies, go check it out. It's fucking amazing. Not as good as The Walking Dead or WrestleMania, but still, it's up there. So for me, and again, as you guys know, when I put up my photos from the house show in Toronto not too long ago, one of the biggest wrestling fans that I know around here is my little sister-in-law who asked if she could chill with us and watch the show and all that sort of thing. So she's excited. She's a Cena fan, and we don't hold that against her, but it's a good fucking time. Now, let me tell you again about my Sunday night. Sunday night, I watched the whole pre-show. Yeah, I don't care. Call me lame. What the fuck ever. I got to look at Renee Young. It's a thing. Corey Graves is fucking amazing. We don't really need Byron Saxton because we have Booker T there, but that's also a thing. But on the pre-show, we had the tag match. The tag match, which I had a bunch of questions about going in, because you knew you were going to have Naomi on the side, you were going to have Natty on the side, you were going to have El Torito on the side, you were going to have one of the New Day on the side, and one of the Usos was injured. So they worked that into the match. He was taken out early. The other Uso, because I don't know, they're identical, it's a thing, did good as sort of the odd man out in the match. There were a lot of spots that everybody get to look good to a certain degree. All the people on the outside got to get involved. Natalya and Naomi got to scrap a little bit. Xavier Woods got involved at some point. Natalya put El Torito in the sharpshooter, which is fucking fantastic. A lot of spots. There were a couple, and I know we get a lot of these in TNA, but there were a lot of Tower of Doom suplex spots, and it was a good match. Kid and Cesaro win. No problem with this whatsoever, for a couple of reasons. I would have liked the New Day to do it, to win, maybe. Maybe. I'm cool with Kid and Cesaro, don't get me wrong. New Day could have been good, because as a team, in the ring, they work fantastically. Say what you want about the gimmick, but Xavier Woods, Kofi Kingston, and Big E, I was about to say R-Truth, for reasons. They work well together in the ring as a team. Put the gimmick aside. So if they could go with that and people could get over themselves a little bit, they could be cool tag team champions. We could bring back the Freebird rule, a team of 3 defending 2 belts, etc. It could be interesting, right? But they're not going to do that, and people are way too finicky about the gimmick, so it's not going to work. Matadors are trying really, really hard and failing to be relevant, and the Usos are the John Cenas of the tag team division. So there's only really one way you could have gone with this, and that's Kid and Cesaro winning. No problem with this whatsoever. Now, here comes the Battle Royal. And again, this is one of those things where things are important when people want them to be important. Everybody said that the Battle Royal didn't matter, because the Battle Royal was irrelevant and it didn't do anything for Cesaro last year. Now, I would debate that, where the winning of the Battle Royal led to him leaving the Real Americans, led to him leaving Zeb, joining Paul Heyman, having a run with Paul Heyman, and now being in one of the most popular tag teams in WWE, as well as being the tag team champion. But regardless, if you want to take the opinion that it didn't do anything for Cesaro, then you shouldn't care who wins, really, right? But then all of a sudden, suddenly winning does matter when the wrong guy wins, and it's the Big Show. Big Show winning this match. Okay. It's a battle royal dedicated to Andre the Giant. So somewhere along the way, they're going to give it to the Big Show. It's the Big Show and Andre the Giant. The parallels have been drawn for years. WWE can't help themselves sometimes. They're going to do this. Now, why do I not have a problem with this? I don't have a problem with this because Big Show is a speed bump in the WWE these days. Everybody's saying, oh, I'm sick of the Big Show, so he should retire. Whereas I'm pretty sure, whoever you are, the Big Show's employment record and his chosen day of retirement does not run on your schedule. So Big Show is going to leave when he wants to, and he's going to leave when WWE has nothing else for him to do. Big Show, at this point, isn't doing very much anyway, so I don't know how you can be that offended. Big Show hasn't held a title forever. He hasn't had a main event other than like Raw tag team matches in forever. So the guy's going to be around for a while. Give him something. When you go around and you say that the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal is freaking meaningless, and you don't, and people out there try to say that they think it's irrelevant, they don't care about it, and it's nothing to them, it's a brush off. I'm not watching the pre-show anyway. If you don't care, then why do you care that the Big Show won? Well, it should have been Mizdow. Now, I will agree with you. I will agree with you to a certain extent, because the way the match came down, I will say, cool to see Alex Riley and Hideo Itami in this match, as well as Bo Dallas. A lot of NXT representation for all those people that say NXT guys get treated like crap, but whatever. Came down to Mizdow, and the Big Show. And initially, I thought the way they ended it was really dumb. Because you figure if Sandow's going to turn on the Miz, why would you not turn on the Miz after the two of you have teamed up and taken out the Big Show? Whereas if you want to build the story of Mizdow screwing over the Miz, you want to point out that he has, he's sick of the Miz. The Miz has just basically told him to go march into the Lion's Den and fight the Big Show. Now he's so outraged by this that his number one thing now is fuck the Miz, and his single-minded fuck the Miz attitude is so strong, and he hates the Miz so much, and he wants to eliminate the Miz so much that he's blind to the fact that the Big Show is there. Not only is he hateful enough of The Miz that he wants to eliminate him and wants to destroy him going forward, he can now turn around and say that his blind hatred of The Miz cost him the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. And let's be real, even after he took out The Miz, and there's the big shock and awe moment that wasn't really shocking or awing to anybody, Mizdow, or they're still calling him Mizdow on Raw, which I find awkward, but Mizdow and Big Show, for the last few moments of that match, had a good match. I thought they were going to do the Benoit spot, where you sort of headlock him, basically until he falls out of the ring. He did that, and then at the very last minute he threw him out. Whereas the audience is going to go, you know, you're a dumbass, you could have stayed with The Miz, the two of you could have gotten the Big Show out together, and then you could have turned on him and won the match, but his snap, his feeling of, I'm so sick of The Miz's shit, was stronger than the realization that there's a 7-foot monster on the other side of the ring. And I think that's a fantastic story going forward, especially when we get to Raw later on. The ladder match. Fucking phenomenal. I just, and with all, you know, you guys, a lot of you still misinterpret my feelings about Daniel Bryan. That's fine. Ambrose taking that sick bump through the ladder was fucking ridiculous. And doing the elbow off the ladder in the rampway. Stardust making his cool entrance with his new getup and whatnot. R-Truth is always entertaining. Bad News Barrett was great. Harper showed that he can move like a guy not his size. Ziggler just is the bumping roadkill machine that we know he is, and Daniel Bryan was in there looking technically great. Daniel Bryan won the match. Now, immediately, guys like Deluxe Man texting me, or not texting me, but tweeting me or sending me tweet IMs or whatever. Yeah, you know, fuck you. I bet you're eating your words now. I bet you hate this, don't you? I'm like, no, man. I don't hate Daniel Bryan. I don't hate Daniel Bryan. The WWE story says it makes no sense for him to be in the main event. That's it. I don't hate Daniel Bryan. I wish they wouldn't Superman him so much. I wish I couldn't make as many comparisons to the way they're booking him as Cena right now. But I don't hate Daniel Bryan. I wish the guy all the success in the world. That being said, I have no problem with him winning this match. I think he's going to be a fantastic Intercontinental Champion. And I think he'll be a great and I think it's a good fit. And I'm not saying that to insult Daniel Bryan. I'm not saying that, you know, oh, B-plus player, give him the mid-card title and all that sort of thing. For years and years and years, back to like the Mr. Perfect Bret Hart days, the Intercontinental Championship has been the wrestler's championship. And that's what Daniel Bryan is. He's a wrestler. You guys, most of you out there, hate John Cena, hate Roman Reigns, hate Sheamus, who we're going to get into later, hate the Big Show because they are superstars. There's that big divide between superstars and wrestlers. And Daniel Bryan is definitely on the wrestler side of that. So even Daniel Bryan himself being quoted as, I want to bring meaning to the Intercontinental Championship, and I want to make SmackDown relevant as if it was still two brands. So we're going to see a lot of Daniel Bryan with the Intercontinental Championship on SmackDown even. I have no problem with that whatsoever. What I have a problem with is the backstage segment. And no, I don't deny Daniel Bryan having a congratulatory moment in the back, having his interview, getting a high five from a legend, whatever. But when you've got Ric Flair, when you've got who else was back there? I think it was Piper. I think Steamboat was back there. Couple of other people. Ron Simmons was there, even though he was never IC champion. And they're all putting him over, and they're all kissing his ass, and they're all overdoing it. That's what bothers me. And I came out of that segment, I know it was supposed to be a feel-good moment. And you know what? If it was somebody new, if it was somebody brand fucking new, if it was somebody that was from NXT and had won their way into that ladder match by winning a tournament on it, if it was Hideo Itami, if Hideo Itami had won his way into that ladder match instead of the Battle Royal, and he had come out on top, I could understand him wanting to be welcome to the WWE with 101 legends and da-da-da-da-da. But Daniel Bryan is also is already an established WrestleMania main eventer, so you know what this is. And I watched this segment and I had to roll my eyes, and the only thought I had going through my head is, how long is the WWE going to spend apologizing to the Daniel Bryan fans that they couldn't have Daniel Bryan in another main event? Because that's what this felt like. And I know that's going to get me a lot of hate, but this was them kowtowing to all the Daniel Bryan fans. Look, we had him win a match, we gave him a belt, and we've got every single legend we can scrape up, you know, kissing his ass. Please don't yell anymore. Please don't scream anymore. Stop apologizing. WWE put on an amazing WrestleMania. Stop apologizing to the Daniel Bryan fans. Just saying. In one of the most underrated matches of the night, Orton versus Rollins. Orton versus Rollins. And this is why I like Randy Orton matches at WrestleMania, because Randy Orton matches at WrestleMania are the ones with no stipulations, are the ones with no gimmicks, are the ones with no titles involved. They're just matches for the sake of matches that are fucking great. You don't believe me? Go back a couple of years and watch Orton versus Punk. Orton versus Punk is one of, if not the greatest matches on that card. But it's not for anything, and it doesn't have a flashy gimmick, and it's not a funky stipulation match, so it doesn't stick out. Orton Rollins stole this show. It wasn't absolutely the best match on this card, like Orton Punk was, but this stole the show. And everybody's spoken about it already, but the fucking Matrix opened up when this match ended. The elevated curb stomp into the mid-air RKO spot, however you want to describe it, when Seth Rollins tried to stomp Orton's head into that ground, and instead Orton stood straight up with enough strength that Rollins went right up in the air, caught him easy as pie in an RKO. It was fucking beautiful, and it was a fucking great match. And the right guy won, especially if you pay attention to what goes on later in the night. Sting versus Triple H. Now. Sting had a weird-ass entrance. Did he not? All the Japanese guys painted up like Sting, and they're playing xylophones and, like, I guess what you would call tribal drums, and doing a lot of percussive stuff, and it was really, really cool. And then his entrance music started. His entrance music in the WWE is shit. Let's be real about this. His entrance music in the WWE is shit. I don't know, because the commercial for him in being in the 2015 WWE game was his old music. His music in the game, in the WWE game, is his old WCW music. I don't know why they felt the need to give him new music. This is like the Goldberg shit all over again. But be that as it may, Sting looked great, especially for his age. He brought his A game. Everybody's already said it. Whatever you saw of Sting in TNA, flush it down the toilet. He's wrestling like he's 30 years old again. Triple H and the Terminator entrance with the metal exoskeleton and the bionic King of Kings skull and crown, and all the Terminator robots all the way around him, and the scanning for opponents, scanning for all the computerized Skynet type shit, and Arnold Schwarzenegger saying, "WrestleMania, this is your judgment day. I'll be back," or whatever the hell he said. The working relationship between Arnold Schwarzenegger and Triple H is fucking fantastic, isn't it? Triple H, and yes, and I know what people are going to say. He's the boss of the company, or he's one of the bosses of the company. Of course he's going to give himself a great entrance. Well, you know what? You know what I say to that, and this probably sounds a little bit cocky on my part, but he's busted his ass. Whatever you want to say about Triple H, he's busted his ass to get himself into a position where he has the power and the money and the authority to give himself a kick-ass wrestling entrance every year at WrestleMania, so let him. He deserves it. He's earned it. You know what? He's busted his ass to get to that spot. He takes it, and he has one selfish moment a year and gives himself a cool entrance at WrestleMania. Good for him. But that's not even the best part. These guys had a great match, and it's not enough that these guys had a great match. You know, turn all your analytics off. Turn your fan brain on. Turn your nostalgia brain on, and when Break It Down hits over the speakers in the middle of this match, and you see X-Pac, and you see Billy Gunn, and you see the Road Dogg come down and try to distract Sting, and try to make it necessarily one-sided. And then you hear that crackle and that other familiar music of the NWO, and up in the top, fresh off of the Hall of Fame last year, is last night, or however you want to say it, Kevin Nash, Scott Hall, and Hulk Hogan. And they brawl. And it's not like, okay, Hogan gets one punch in, Nash gets one punch in, and that's about it. No, they're literally brawling outside the ring. And now, again, if your analytic is on, you want to say, oh, well, why would the NWO help Sting? That doesn't make any sense. And you turn that off, and your fan brain goes on, and you're like, shut the fuck up. It's fucking awesome. And the match goes on, and the match goes on, and the match goes on. And there's one name in this whole scenario that's missing. There's one name synonymous with WrestleMania, synonymous with all the guys that are standing around ringside, and that guy waits. And waits until Sting puts on his questionable Scorpion Deathlock on Triple H, and then he's met with sweet chin music by Shawn Michaels. And the match continues. We get NWO passing on Sting his bat. You get DX passing Triple H his sledgehammer. You get a ridiculously fake spot where the bat breaks the sledgehammer in half, which is, again, turn your analytic off, turn your fan on. That's fucking badass. This is the wrestling version of Luke Skywalker and Darth Vader pulling out their lightsabers and saying, let's go. Triple H now has a 5-on-4 advantage and a steel-headed weapon. He bashes Sting, hits the pedigree, wins the match. People flip out because, Triple H just buried another guy. Sting is a fucking legend who, if he never touched a WWE ring, would still end up in the Hall of Fame. He's not some newbie. And we'll get into those situations as well. But he's not some newbie. Sting losing this match is a guarantee that this was not his only match. It really is. Now, you've got a guy who's famous in his own right, who carried an entire company on his back up until it died 14 years ago. And he lost, yeah, but he doesn't look weak. He lost a 5-on-4 advantage to the head of a sledgehammer. That's pretty realistic and pretty reasonable, if you ask me. And, especially because we know what's coming on later down the line. But Divas match, AJ versus Paige. Not going to go on to this one too long. The match got decent time. I know there's people clocking the Divas matches now. Well, we're not going to say that it was a good match unless it went 10 minutes. That's the new boundary. This one went 6.5 or so, and it was fucking fantastic. And boo-hoo, the title wasn't involved, but whatever. But AJ Lee, Paige, and the Bellas, the 4 hardest working divas in the company, fuck NXT for just this particular minute, got to go out there and show what the fuck they can do, when last year was a bullshit, meaningless battle royal. We're making progress. We're not there, and I'm not saying we're there, but that's fucking progress. The 4 most relevant divas in the WWE got to get in the ring together and do their shit, and it was fucking amazing, and my girl AJ won by submission, and it's good like that. US title. Cena versus Rusev, another one that people are crying about. Another one that people are absolutely bawling their eyes out about, because Cena's not allowed to win anything. And I've said it before, guys, you know me. I've been the world's biggest Cena hater at one point. I did Cena Apocalypse. I have my gripes with Cena. Cena stepped down to the lowest title holder in the company because nobody thought shit about the US title until Rusev grabbed it, until Cena got involved. But he stepped down to the lowest title in the company. He's 4 matches away from the main event. Not even close. Had a good match with Rusev. Sold a lot of Rusev's shit. At one point in the match, and this is probably the high point of the match, this is the step-up RKO of this match, was Cena springboarding off of the second rope and hitting a stunner. A springboard second rope stunner is something I've never seen before, and was it executed perfectly? No. But this is Cena we're talking about, and it's something other than an AA, and it's something other than this and that, the next thing. And Cena did not beat Rusev. Miscommunication between Rusev and Lana beat Rusev, and that's an ongoing story where he's going to lose Lana and come back and be rebuilt and whatever. Cena's the United States champion. Now, oh my god, we buried Rusev. First of all, that means, to a T, they're going to make at least one other superstar look awesome. Because they're not going to keep the U.S. title on John Cena forever. This is a fact. And whoever else goes on to win the U.S. title next, yes, they're going to carry the U.S. title. Yes, it's the title that nobody cares about. But now, that title will become an emblem of, I beat John Cena. And that's important. Second of all, everybody's saying, oh, well, you know, last year Cena did the same thing. He went down and fought a lower card guy and he was supposed to put him over, and now Bray Wyatt's nowhere and he's nowhere and he's nowhere. Good mic work in his review said it best. Shut the fuck up. Bray Wyatt lost to Cena last year and is now fighting The Undertaker in a match above Cena in the semi-main of WrestleMania. So eat massive cock on that one. Rusev will come back. This is a thing. Cena's going to make the U.S. title mean something. He made a good start to that on Raw, which we'll get to in a moment. But this is not a burial. Cena was not the ultimate deciding factor in this match. Lana was. So it's not even like Cena went in there and like 5 seconds AA. It wasn't a Sheamus Daniel Bryan 18 seconds type of thing. It was a good, hard fought match that Cena took advantage of at the end and got the victory. And again, I mean, I know a lot of the guys we cheer for are heels. WrestleMania is usually the ends of feuds, and the ends of feuds are usually where the good guy wins. That's a thing. That's why you all freaked out over Daniel Bryan last year. Moving on. Taker Wyatt was good, was fucking phenomenal, was everything it needed to be. The crab walk sit-up spot was awesome. Bray Wyatt's entrance with all the scarecrows was awesome. I will say not as awesome, only because his entrance last year with the girl juggling the knives in the fire and the live band and all that sort of thing was fucking immense. But the thing he did this year, coming out by himself, I will say it was kind of weird seeing him carry the lantern when it was still daylight out. That was weird. That was it was bordering on pointless, but you know what the lamp symbolizes. It's his version of the urn. For any lack of any better term. What I will say is what was completely underwhelming was the Undertaker's entrance. Undertaker came out in his generic hat, in his generic coat, and in the sort of American Badass tank top and leather pants gimmicks there. Not to take anything away, obviously seeing the Undertaker is amazing, and it's great to see the shape that he's in. He's not got the mohawk shaped head anymore. He's kind of got the American Badass haircut as well. But after so many years of the Undertaker having a tremendous entrance at WrestleMania, this one was kind of generic and kind of simple. And on the one hand, it was kind of disappointing, but on the other hand, it was kind of refreshing. Because I think it was their way of saying other guys need to stick out. Bray Wyatt, like I say, having the entrance with the masked scarecrows and all that looked really cool. So him being the new guy, he got a little flashier of an entrance. He got to be a little bit more memorable in that regard. I thought it was great. As I say, the sit up and spider walk moment was cool. Many tombstones into Sister Abigail's, into body splashes, into choke slams. Taker got the win, which I don't have a problem with. I mean, if last year hadn't happened and Wyatt had won this year, people would be bitching at Wyatt like they're bitching at Lesnar. Undertaker is somebody we've sort of given the pass to as far as burying people at WrestleMania, literally, because he's the Undertaker. See what I did with the pun there. I have no problem with the Undertaker winning this match, and Wyatt will bounce back because he's proven that he can. He's run up against the Cena Steamroller and still been one of the most popular guys in the company. I don't think going up against the Undertaker, who nobody expects to lose, is going to hurt him at all. And like I say, fantastic match overall. Lesnar versus Roman Reigns. And when I say Lesnar versus Roman Reigns and the winner is Seth Rollins, fan-fucking-tastic. It was good. Say what you want about Roman Reigns. Say what you want about Brock Lesnar only being there part-time and Roddy Raw. Every gripe that people have with Roman Reigns about only being there sometimes and being a part-timer and Roddy Raw disappears as soon as the match starts, because you know what you're in for. And those quotes from Vince McMahon of "we keep Brock Lesnar away because he's an attraction and he's a really big thing to happen when he finally shows up," all those words ring in your ears when Brock Lesnar starts doing his shit. He ragdolled Roman Reigns, let's be real. And the more sadistic anti-Roman Reigns fans are all getting giddy and juicing their jeans over the fact that Roman Reigns got his ass handed to him for a long period of time. And then they got sad because, oh, an F5 10 seconds into the match didn't win the match. Do you really want to have, as I say, the Daniel Bryan 18 seconds type scenario in the main event of WrestleMania? Do you really? It was just, why? There we go. What can I say? He got his ass handed to him. He got a couple flurries of offense in. Whatever he did to Lesnar fucked up Lesnar's face a couple of times. When he hit the post, I think he hit the post hard way. Fucked up his the center of his forehead there. But he's also lacerated a couple times on his cheek. Got some swelling in there. Got some color early on in the match. Made everything look a bit more badass. I mean, because here's the deal. If you bust Lesnar open, first of all, you're the badass that busted Lesnar open, and look at Lesnar, who does not give half a fuck that there's blood pouring out of his face. It wins. It works for everybody. Now, when Roman Reigns got his flurry in, took 3 or 4 Superman punches to even have Lesnar on the ropes, and he finally hit the spear twice, I believe. And when they're both down, is when you hear that drum beat, that familiar drum beat, and you see Rollins come down with the case, and everybody's confused because you figure he's going to let these two destroy each other and pick up the scraps after the match, so he's only got one opponent. The one thing, and even I will say this, I never predicted, was him coming down and handing the case to the referee in the match, because now it's a triple threat, which is cool. It's cool in a whole bunch of ways. It's cool in a whole bunch of ways because the only other way they could have done it that way is if there's 2 matches at once and Lesnar is fighting 2 different matches at once, which wouldn't make any sense. But he hits the curb stomp on Lesnar twice. He hits the Lesnar gets up, goes to F5 Rollins. How can I explain this? Roman Reigns spears Lesnar right from under Rollins, and Rollins sort of falls safely, and Rollins hits Roman Reigns with the curb stomp and gets the win. Now, everybody wins in this scenario, because the one that ate the pin was Roman. So Lesnar still is technically unbeaten, so there's a storyline waiting to happen there. Roman got cheated out of his proper one-on-one title shot, so there's a story there. Ultimately, Rollins is the champion, so there's a story there. Lesnar can say he got screwed because he was only preparing for one opponent, not 2. There's a story there. Everything good about this, because if they had waited until after the match, there would have been 2 losers. If Lesnar had beat Roman would have taken a loss and then gotten cashed in on, then Rollins would have had to take a loss as well, which is no good. Or Lesnar would have taken a loss as well. There would have been 2 losses in the span of a little bit of time. But he threw himself into the mix, and it also makes Rollins look better because, look, I'm willing to take on 2 guys. Make this a triple threat match. I don't want to wait until there's only 1 guy left. Everything wins. Everything wins. I will talk about the Triple H Rock Ronda Rousey segment really quickly. Triple H coming out to in a suit to brag about beating Sting, talking about how he owns the WWE, he owns the stadium, he owns the people in the back, and he owns the people. And as soon as you say you own the people, for the love of God, here comes the people's champ. And it's fucking great. Stephanie gets in his face, slaps him, asks him if he's ever going to hit a woman. He says no. He leaves the ring. Brings out Ronda fucking Rousey from UFC into the ring. He says, I'm not going to hit a woman, but she will. And it's fucking great. He goes after the Triple H. She goes after Stephanie McMahon in some weird arm lock thing. I don't know. I'm not familiar with UFC. But she slams Triple H. It's fucking fantastic. Now, here's what I am going to say, because people are tossing around the idea of Sting versus Taker for next year. If we start off the booking for next year's WrestleMania with Sting versus Taker and Rock versus Triple H, WrestleMania 32 already sold out, or WrestleMania Star, because I know they're not doing the numbers anymore. This was WrestleMania Play Button, next year's WrestleMania Star, which is a little bit lame, I will admit. But we used this WrestleMania, and we used it properly. Everybody looked good. Everybody looked fantastic. Right now, your champions are John Cena, Seth Rollins, Kid Cesaro, Seth Rollins, And, well, Nikki didn't defend her title, so meh. But AJ made the champion submit at WrestleMania, so that could be a thing going forward as well. WWE's in a good spot, and I dare you, without spewing bullshit out of your mouth, to tell me that this WrestleMania sucked. That's it. That's all. So now we get into the most important day of all, according to some people, and that is the post-WrestleMania Raw. Watching the WrestleMania pre-show, we know that two things are going to happen tonight on Raw. One is Cena is going to put out an open challenge to anybody that wants to face him for his United States Championship. Now the predictable part of me would say, well, Rusev's going to come out and try to get his rematch. But that's not to be, and we'll talk about that later. Also, Ziggler versus Bryan for the Intercontinental Championship. Out of the frying pan, into the fire story for Daniel Bryan. Isn't he a badass? We start off Raw with Lesnar and Heyman. Like I say, Lesnar's face is fucking messed up. Heyman refers to Lesnar as the most non-PG star of the PG era. Lesnar destroyed Roman at WrestleMania. We got a loud Suplex City chant from the crowd. This crowd in San Jose, I believe they were in, was great. The post-WrestleMania Raw crowd is always fucking fantastic. I think in this Raw, they've actually made a point of not ignoring them like they have in past years, which is good as well. And he took such a beating from Lesnar and came back that we almost respect Roman Reigns, which is fucking great. He refers to Seth Rollins as a slime ball, talks about the cash-in, talks about how he had to laugh at Rollins, and Rollins knows better because he pinned the challenger and not the champion. Talking about how he's got Jewish relatives that are lawyers, and he could take this into the seventh court and talk about how he pinned the challenger, not the champion. He shouldn't be the champion. But Lesnar will not allow me to take legal action because Lesnar thinks that all lawyers are crooked or whatever the hell he said. He wants a rematch tonight. Stephanie McMahon comes out to a loud Ronda Rousey chant, which again made me smile. And the announcers acknowledged it. They talk about the Ronda Rousey thing from WrestleMania last night, and they, props to the crowd for speaking their mind. Roddy, Roddy, Rah. Stephanie says it was one of the best main events ever. Rollins is busy. He was on the Today Show because he was the champion, and you're not because you lost. I am sure he's up for the challenge tonight when he gets here, and Heyman says, I'm going to give you a spoiler. Tonight live on Raw for the first time in 10 years, Brock Lesnar is going to compete. He's going to beat up Rollins, he's going to beat Rollins, and he's going to get his damn belt back. Fantastic. Up next, Daniel Bryan versus Dolph Ziggler for the Intercontinental Championship with Wade Barrett on commentary complaining about how he's not the champion anymore. We start off with a test of strength, a double wrist lock by Daniel Bryan, some nice chain wrestling and mounting punches by Bryan, collar and elbow type, and a headbutt in the corner by Ziggler. Silly kicks! Oh yes! By Bryan. Bryan does his weird surfboard thing. Ziggler breaks out of it. Amazing dropkick by Ziggler as usual. Ziggler tries for a crossbody. Bryan shrugs it off and both men end up on the outside. We go to commercial break. We come back in and we're in the ring and Bryan's got a headlock on Ziggler. Ziggler misses a splash. Bryan hits multiple kicks in the corner where he's got them in the corner. He runs up, dropkick, runs up, dropkick, runs up. I would just duck if it was me, but whatever. Bryan gets crotched on the rope. Ziggler gets crotched on the rope. They're fighting on the top rope, and eventually a top rope belly-to-back suplex by Daniel Bryan gets him a near fall. More silly kicks, and Ziggler gets a roll-up for another near fall. Bryan tries for the S-lock. Ziggler jackknifes him into another pinfall attempt. They do the battle of the backslides, which is something that Ziggler and Daniel Bryan do a lot, which is kind of getting old, but it's still amazing. The crowd is fucking on fire in this match, it has to be said. Bryan eats post. Bryan hits the running knee and eats a super kick instead, like he has on the past two. Last week he lost on SmackDown and lost on Raw because he went for the running knee and ate a super kick. So this is going along with that same thing. Daniel Bryan apparently not learning his lesson. Whatever. They trade punches from the knees. They trade headbutts, and Daniel Bryan actually hits the running knee. Bryan gets the win, defends his title. And I'm just sitting here saying, okay, he just won it at WrestleMania. He's not going to lose it tonight. That's fine, whatever. Barrett comes off commentary and starts beating down Bryan. Out comes the returning Sheamus. I mean, I won't say Sheamus. I will say Sheamus is music. And there's a cheer. And because you think the Sheamus, being the good guy, being the Irish John Cena, is going to come out and he's going to save Daniel Bryan and save his buddies and whatnot. He starts beating down Barrett as soon as he hits the ring. But then you notice something. you notice that friggin' Sheamus looks like an absolute artard with beads in his beard and a fucking ginger mohawk. And an immediate "you look stupid" chant from the crowd. He does in fact beat up Wade Barrett. Wade Barrett leaves. Then he hits the boot on Bryan, and I grin like this. And then he beats down Ziggler, hits the white noise and the brogue kick. He just picks up the microphone and simply says, "I'm back," and fucks off. Which is great. We get Hall of Fame highlights. So Sheamus is back. He did kick Daniel Bryan's head off, which is what I hoped would happen at Royal Rumble, but better late than never. We're going to get an interesting match on SmackDown that I'll tell you about later on. Kid, Cesaro, and the Ascension. Here we go. Here's where I want to say to all those people that say NXT gets no exposure. The poor guys on NXT are so mistreated. Kid, Cesaro, and the Ascension versus the New Day and the Lucha Dragons. And they even say on commentary, the only one in this match that has never been on NXT is Kofi Kingston. Oh yes. In this match, throughout this match, you hear NXT chants, you hear Cesaro chants, you hear Lucha chants, and you hear, even though Sami Zayn's not there, the Olay chants. We start off the match. Cesaro beats on Sin Cara. There's a lot of S's and C's that sound like S's, so cut me some slack. Cesaro beats down Sin Cara. I just edit out that in your brain. Sin Cara hits that spinning armbar thing that he used to do. Kalisto tags in. He's overpowered by Cesaro, but he hits a multi-rotation head scissor on Cesaro. Big E comes in, and Big E and Connor square off. Big E hits the shoulders on Connor in the corner. Kofi Kingston and Sin Cara double team Connor. Connor stomps a mud hole in Sin Cara. Victor and Connor double team Sin Cara, and we go to commercial break. The swing and kick by Kid and Cesaro on Sin Cara. Connor stomps Sin Cara. Enziguri by Sin Cara on Connor. Kofi Kingston hits a clothesline on pretty much everybody in the match. Boom drop and a body splash on Kid. Victor and Cesaro argue in the corner because they're heels, and heel miscommunication, of course, has to be a thing. Kalisto hits a spinning springboard crossbody that looks really nice, I will admit, and hits that wicked head scissor DDT thing that he's well known for, which is great. Big E suplexes everybody in the room, and then eats a big boot by Connor. A double drop kick by Kofi and Sin Cara on Connor. Kalisto hits the Salcido del Sol on Victor, and the Lucha Dragons and New Day get the win. This was supposed to be the Lucha Dragons' debut on Raw. They made a hell of a showing of themselves, and they did look fantastic in this match. My problem with this is you got two guys debuting in a pile of about 12 people. So my hope is, because I do like this team, they're not my favorite team from NXT. I really wish we were getting Enzo and Cass, but that'll have to be a thing later on. Would you not have had them in a regular 2-on-2 tag team match? Like, put them up against somebody small, let them squash them really quick, this is what we do, etc., etc. Put them up against the primetime players, or somebody. Put them up against the Matadors. To get them debuted on the roster, because they were in there not only with, like I say, 12 other guys, they were in there with guys that just tower over them, and made some spots in this match look really awkward. We get the idea that Neville is coming. It's not really a package, it's just a slow-motion shot of Neville doing the red arrow, and then we cut to commercial break. We get what's supposed to be Lesnar versus Rollins. Lesnar and Rollins both come out. The crowd starts chanting Suplex City one more time. Rollins, as they're being announced, mocks Lesnar with the title a lot, and I'm thinking, okay, he's not going to have a match. This is not going to be a thing, but he's going to get destroyed in some way, shape, or form. He starts mocking Lesnar. He gets on the mic. He says, "I feel a bit jet-lagged from being on the Today Show, and my foot hurts from stomping both you and Roman last night. I will give you a championship match. I'm a fighting champion. It just won't be tonight." Lesnar suplexes Rollins. Rollins counters. He hits the Enziguri on Lesnar. Square to the side of the head. Doesn't faze Lesnar in the slightest. He fucks off. In his anger, Lesnar beats the fuck out of J&J Security, tips over the commentary table, taking out all three commentators in the process. F5's Michael Cole, F5's the cameraman twice. Stephanie McMahon comes out and suspends Lesnar indefinitely, which gets a loud bullshit chant from the crowd. And the last thing we see before we go to commercial break is a shot of, Michael Cole's in the ring because he's been F5, but the other two are under the table, and it's JBL and Booker T, and they're both out, so it's fan-fucking-tastic. Renee Young interviews Steph in the back, basically says, you know, he's suspended, he's going to be fined, and if he thinks he's going to go back to UFC, everybody saw on SportsCenter, we have him to an exclusive contract, so I own that son of a bitch. We come back, and Byron Saxton is standing at the broken announce table by himself, doing commentary for Stardust versus Mizdow. Stardust stomps a mud hole, Mizdow hits a clothesline, back and neckbreaker, boots by Stardust. They trade punches, they trade kicks. Face first suplex by Stardust, which gets a Cody chant. Mizdow hits the skull crushing finale and gets the win. Miz comes out of the crowd in street clothes, beats down Mizdow, hits the skull crushing finale on him, gets an asshole chant, and we are off to the races for that Miz versus Mizdow rivalry that you all wanted. Now, when are they going to stop having him use the Miz's entrance music? When are they going to start calling him Sandow again? When are they going to get rid of that stupid jacket and the glasses and all the Miz arsenal? I don't know, but I hope it's sooner than later. We get a replay of the Rock and Ronda Rousey segment from WrestleMania, which is fine. Then we come back to Curtis Axel in the ring, cutting a promo, talking about how Axelmania is still running wild. It took all 29 people to get me out of the Battle Royal. Axelmania is still running wild. You know, everybody was afraid of me. I was the most intimidating guy in the Battle Royal, and it's true. If you go back to the Battle Royal, he's posing, doing his Axelmania thing, tearing the shirt, whatever, and the entire 29 other guys crowd surf him out of the ring. So he does have a point there. This is the debut of Adrian Neville. Oh wait, this is the debut of Neville. Because I think the idea, if you look at Cesaro, if you look at Rusev, if you look at Big E, you only get one name once you come up from NXT. But whatever, he comes out in a cape, and I'm pretty sure people are going to bitch about that, but look at Austin Aries, it works for him. I didn't write down what happened in this match, Adrian Neville did what Adrian Neville does in this match. Obviously gets the win, obviously shows off the red arrow, and obviously Curtis Axel is never going to win a match in his life. But if Neville and the Lucha Dragons are both on the main roster now, this is going to be fucking fun. I kind of hope he turns heel. Get him into matches with guys like Kofi Kingston. It'll be good. John Cena comes out for the US title open challenge. Cena has a new t-shirt. Of course. It's, do you remember a couple years ago the black and white t-shirt that he had when he had the spinner belt? It was just like, the champ is here, and we took the belt off. There was a belt on the shirt. It's basically that for the US title, and the champ is here is written in like stars and stripes letters. It's kind of shitty. The crowd, the crowd is singing John Cena sucks. And he lets them do it for a second, and he says, well, you're not going to like what I say next because the champ is here. So John Cena being a dick. This is a thing, and if John Cena is going to keep actually being a dick, I don't mind that at all. But everybody and their mother expects. Ambrose comes down, collar and elbow tie up to start the match, headlock by Cena. Ambrose punks out Cena, slapping him in the chest, pushing him up against the ropes, etc. A snap headlock by Cena, and a shoulder by Cena, and an arm drag by Ambrose. We go to commercial break. We come back from commercial break, and the King is on commentary with Byron Saxton. So 2/3 of the SmackDown announce team are now announcing Raw. Fantastic. Another headlock by Cena. A takedown, an elbow with fists, Ambrose with fists, and more elbows, and a side slam by Cena. Fist by Ambrose, boots by Cena, rebound clothesline is countered into a side slam by Cena, 5-knuckle shuckle, and an AA is countered into a roll-up and a near fall for Ambrose. Cena hits an elbow, rebound clothesline actually connects this time, failed dirty deeds, failed attitude adjustment, they start trading more punches. Second rope tornado DDT by Ambrose is really nice. Top rope elbow to Cena on the outside is even better. Attitude adjustment and a near fall by Cena. Sunset flip Batista bomb from the top rope by Ambrose, but Cena counters it into an STF because he's Cena. Ambrose gets to the bottom rope for a break. Ambrose counters the attitude adjustment into his own STF, which looks fucking great. The attitude adjustment is countered into the dirty deeds, which gets a near fall. They trade some more punches. Ambrose hits a crossbody. Cena rolls through it and hits the AA, and Cena gets the win. After the match, they have a handshake, show of respect. Ambrose sort of still talking some shit like, I'll be back for that another time or whatever, and Cena kind of nodding. Sort of the high-five handshake after the match was a really, really nice touch. Orton and Rollins have a face-to-face in the back. Orton talking about what I was talking about last night on Twitter, which is that Orton should be the next contender for the championship because he beat the current champion at WrestleMania, even though he wasn't the champion for another hour or so. There's some more shit talking. He's like, Orton, I know you've got so many friends. Why don't you go find 2 friends? I'll bring Show and Kane, and we'll have a 3-on-3 match for the main event tonight on Raw, which is fine. I know, I've been rambling for a long time now. AJ, Paige, and Naomi versus the Bellas and Natty. Natty and Naomi grapple, and as they're doing whatever they want to call what they're doing in the ring, we get a "We Want Paige" chant. A rebound atomic drop by Natty, a low drop kick by Natty, a drop kick by Brie. Elbows and a firewoman's carry and an armbar, all by Brie. Multiple headbutts by Paige, gets her a near fall. Paige spears Brie right out of the ring, which is a brilliant, brilliant spot. We have a commercial break. Nikki has got the surfboard on AJ, and when we come back, and Natty hits a drop kick to the back, which is nice, and we get her in a surfboard. Snap vertical suplex by Natty, clothesline by Nikki, and back to the surfboard. The psychology is wonderful. Spinebuster by Nikki, still working the back. Wonderful. Nikki puts on some sort of modified Indian Deathlock submission that she eventually rolls into a bow and arrow, and now there is no more "We Want Paige," there is no more "We Want AJ," there is no more, there was not a single CM Punk chant, which was great. There's just "Let's Go Divas," which I think is fucking wonderful. AJ gets a headlock and a body vine on Nikki. Alabama slam on Naomi by Nikki. There's a brawl, and Nikki accidentally elbows Brie. Brie gets hit by the rear view by Naomi, who I couldn't be paid to give a shit about, but the baby faces get the win. AJ, Paige, and Naomi win. Bickering between the Bellas, and Natty goes off to go be Tyson's wife. Ryback in the back says he will join Orton's team tonight for the main event, which is nice. Ziggler and Bryan versus Barrett and Sheamus was announced for SmackDown, and it's also announced that Cena, Orton, and Roman will all be on SmackDown. They don't say doing what, they just say they'll be there, which is fantastic. Rusev versus Goldust is a squash, and Goldust gets killed, and that's there. Rollins, Show, and Kane versus Orton, Ryback, and Roman is a typical 6-man brawl to the tune of Suplex City. The one good move in this entire match is Roman hitting a suicide dive on all 3 members of the Authority outside of the ring. What I will say, and I said this before, WWE actually taking a minute to acknowledge the post-WrestleMania crowd, whereas before they wouldn't have. When the commentators start mentioning that the crowd is doing a wave, the whoever is on the mobile camera in the crowd pulls it all the way back and follows the wave around the arena a couple times, and the match in the ring stops. Seth Rollins sits in the middle of the ring getting all fucking pissed off and whatever, and he's like, "You paid to see me, this is my show, it's not your show." And then the crowd, because I love this crowd, starts chanting at Rollins, "We are awesome," which is fucking great. The match ends in a finisher fest. Roman Reigns pins Kane, and that really doesn't do anything for anybody. No Wyatt, no Taker, no Sting. Kind of disappointing, but hopefully we'll see something from them in the weeks to come. This was an amazing WrestleMania. This was an amazing Raw. This was an incredibly long video for me to be shooting late on a Monday night. I hope you guys have hung around to the end. If you have, put it down in the box below. Put something like, "I stayed to the end of the video," or something. This is the new wrestling year. Starting now, I've told you what you can expect from this channel. I'm expecting a lot from the WWE. I'm excited. Fuck anybody that isn't at this point. That's really all I've got. I've been Spaz, your YWC Reality Check. Subscribe up there, talk down there, start a conversation, keep all these conversations going. Don't be a stranger. I'll talk to each and every last one of you later, but for right now, I'm tagging out. Bye, guys.
You're a freak like me.